More and more children are out of school, but parents don't want math learning to stop. They're turning to Mathnasium at home. Real-time math instruction tailored to your child's exact educational needs. It's the same face-to-face live instruction used in our centers for over 15 years, now on a computer. Your child can keep their math skills sharp, catch up, or soar ahead, from home or anywhere with an internet connection. To learn if Mathnasium at home is right for your child, visit mathnasium.com/at-home. Mathnasium at home, changing lives through math.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Mathnasium Schoolhouse. I am John, the AVP of Education and Training for Mathnasium. And there are a bunch of things that I know to be true. One, I am very, very fortunate. This is the 8th mental math lesson that we've done, which I think is awesome. We've done a lot of lessons together, but I'm very fortunate to be here with all of you today. I think it's really great that you continue to join me for these. But if you're new, don't worry. We will, in this lesson, revisit some of the things that I talked about yesterday. And if you were with me yesterday, it's always good to practice. So we will talk about a couple things that we finished off with yesterday, practice a little bit more, and we will see some new stuff too. With all these mental math things, I think it's important to keep in mind that it takes practice. You are all very, very smart, smarter than you know. And nobody, you can find the best mental math person in the world, and nobody can do these things without practice. So don't let it be frustrating. Don't let it be confusing. You can write things down. I'm going to write things down too, and you can revisit it later. You can watch the video again. I hope you watch all these videos, and if you feel like you want to watch it again, you certainly can. And some of you may be Mathnasium students, so you already know this, but if you don't know Mathnasium, kids that come to Mathnasium, or they can even do it from home, we put together a really awesome plan for them, for you to work on things that you need to practice or learn some really cool stuff. And we even, if you're back to school, we will help you with your homework too, which is really great. So with all these mental math sessions, like I said, try to do as much of this in your head. I will write things down. You can write down whatever you want. Don't feel bad if you can't do it in your head yet. By the time we get to the end of this one, I'm going to do some tricky stuff, and there's going to be a lot to hold in your head, but that's okay. Things to practice. Show your family, your friends, and practice, practice, practice. Okay? So with all of that said, and don't forget that we also provided a worksheet to follow along, or you can just write it down on a piece of paper and a pencil. Okay. In the comments, you're free to leave comments, who you are, where you're from, and how you like to look at these problems as we talk about mental math strategies, and some make more sense to you than others, and that's okay. All right. So with all of that said, I am going to go ahead and get started. There's much to be done. And yesterday we were talking about, and if you weren't with me yesterday, we kind of left off with this concept of a digit sum. Okay, and I have a bunch of cool things planned for you in the weeks coming that involve digit sums. So we have to learn them first before we apply them, and we'll apply them today a little bit. So you may be thinking, why would I have to do this? Well, it's fun. But we're going to talk about how to use it too. So I want you to think, or you can leave in the comments, if I asked you to find the digit sum, what do you think that means to do? Or maybe you know from yesterday. Think about digit and think about sum. What does the word sum mean? So if I want to find the sum, I have to add. And I want to add the digits of the number that I'm given. And this is where the mental math comes in. You don't have to write the plus sign. Just think, if I have 35 and I want to add 3 and 5, what do I get? I get 8. So what that means is the digit sum of 35 is 8. Okay. And that's all that means. We find the digit sum, we're looking for single digit numbers. And we're going to explore that a little bit more in a bit. and why you are looking for a single digit number or why you always get one. Okay. Let's take a look at a couple more. I'm just going to erase off this. So if I want the digit sum of 601, remember, that's all it's asking me to do is take those digits and add them together, and I get 7. So the digit sum of 601 is 7. Okay. Let's take a look at, we'll make the numbers a little bit bigger. So let's say 1,412. So let's try to do that mentally. So I want the digit sum. So we're thinking 1 plus 4 plus 1 plus 2. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. The digit sum of 1,412 is 8. So that's not too bad. And if that's new to you, you can show somebody else. So your mom or your dad or your grandparent or whoever that you learned something new. Maybe they'd never heard of that before. So in all the examples that we just did, they all added up, all the digit sums added up to be a single digit number. Okay. Now, we know that if the numbers get big or if I have a bunch of numbers to add up, it's definitely possible that we'll end up with like a 2-digit number. So yesterday, if you were with me, we talked about it. Let's talk about it again, review it. So let's find the digit sum of 57. So remember, mentally we're thinking, okay, 5 plus 7. Okay, so that's not so bad. So 5 plus 7 is 12. But remember, we're looking for a single digit number. So what do we do? What do you think we do? Do it again. So I started with 57. I added 5 plus 7. I got 12. And then I'm going to add 1 plus 2. I get 3. So what that means is the digit sum of 57 is 3. Okay. So you just repeat the steps. You find the digit sum. If it's not a single digit number, then I'm going to do it again. And I get until I get a single digit number. And sometimes I have to do it 3, 4, 5 times. But when you're doing it mentally, you're thinking 57. Okay, 5 plus 7, that's 12. Okay, 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. Okay, so it's 3. And practice doing as many of those steps as you can. If you're a parent, there's sky's the limit. You can give them numbers within reason and see what they do with them. Okay, if you want to practice. All right, so let's look at another example. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. I didn't want to do that. So let's find the digit sum of a 3-digit number. Let's do 471. And I lost my S. Digit sum. So if you have to write it down and write your plus signs, that's okay. If you want to do it mentally, that's awesome. Think 4 plus 7 plus 1, which is 12. Think, okay, 1 plus 2 is 3. So the digit sum of 471 is 3. Okay. Let's do one more bigger number. So 3,125. Try to add them up, hold them all in your head. Hold that number in your head and see which, if you need another step, see if you can do the next step. Did you get 2? So how do we get there? 3 plus 1 plus 2 plus 5. So 3 plus 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6, plus 5 is 11. Have to do it again. 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay, something to practice and keep practicing. Okay, now, if you were with me yesterday, I didn't get here, but I want to today. So I have the numbers here from 1 to 20. You can keep going as far as you want. And what I want to write, I'm going to write it in a different color for you. And you can write them all, take a second and write all the numbers from 1 to 20 if you want. You can put them on the back of the page or on a piece of paper that you have. Write them all. Okay, 1 to 20. And underneath them, I want you to write all the digit sums of those numbers. So now you know what a digit sum is. So underneath each one, I want you to write the digit sum of that number. Now you might be thinking, okay, that's tricky right off the bat, because we were talking about sums, and then I have all the numbers from 1 to 9, and how do I find the sum of those? There's just one digit. So what do you think? So the digit sum of those single digit numbers is just the number itself. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So I'm going to write them in blue. Okay, so now the next row, it's a little bit more comfortable for you because it's what you're used to doing. So the question is, what's the digit sum of 10? Remember, all you do is take those digits and add them together. So you get 1 again. The next one is 11. 1 plus 1 is 2. One plus 3. You start to see things like this in math. You think, okay, maybe there's a pattern there. And there is. 1 plus 4 is 5, and you kind of check to make sure that it works, and it does. So now I'm just going to do those quick. So the digit sums of those are 1 through 9. Okay, remember, we're always looking for single digit numbers here. Then we're back down to 19. So it's the digit sum of 19. Because you just got to be a little bit careful on this one because the digit sum of 19 is 2-step. We'll talk about a shortcut. We talked about it yesterday, but we'll talk about it again today. But for now, the digit sum of 19 is 1 plus 9, which is 10, and 1 plus 0 is 1. And it's not a surprise. I would have expected 1. Hopefully the pattern continues. Digit sum of 20 is 2. If I wanted to keep going, I could. 21, 22, 23, 24, and so on. And not a surprise, the sums would be 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get a nice little pattern there, which is really cool. A while ago, I did a lesson for you all. Maybe you saw it, or maybe you would want to look it up later, on what's called modular arithmetic. And if you remember back to modular arithmetic, it's very similar to what I'm about to show you. So think about all these repeating numbers, because you see a repeating patterns here. 1 to 9, then goes back to 1, 1 to 9, back to 1. And that certainly feels a lot like a clock to me, and it kind of like a clock. Just doesn't have all the numbers of 12, but when I start thinking about patterns that repeat, like a circle, then you can write it like it's a circle. So there's a lot of, you can write this on your page, something that you can look at later. There's a lot of numbers on here. This is just what we did a moment ago. So you don't have to worry too much about that. But look at that circle. You have all the numbers from 1 to 9. Okay, so that takes me up to here. And then I get to 10, which has a digit sum of 1. So that kind of helps. So instead of writing it this way, I can think of it like it's a circle. And we were talking about the modular arithmetic a while ago. We looked at something very, very similar to that. Okay. You should look it up because that was a fun one. Now, a couple things here. What's really cool about this is, as always, patterns in math are really cool. We kind of talked about one there. But what do you add to get to each number? What do you add each time? So what do you add to get from 2 up to 11? And then what do you add from 11 to get up to 20? So you add 9, okay, which is kind of interesting. It also helps me complete the circle. So if I wanted to know, let's say where 21 went, I can keep working my way around the circle. 21. And that makes sense because what's 3 plus 9? And what's 12 plus 9? Okay, so I can kind of just keep writing numbers in around the circle, but they're all connected because to get from one to the next, I have to add 9. And next week I have a cool mental math session planned for you all. It just so happens, which is a coincidence, that's the 9th one that we're going to do, and it's all about the power of 9. So maybe we'll revisit some of this then. But 9's really important in this type of mental math, mental arithmetic. Now what's interesting about this is that I can put any number on this circle now. So let's say I wanted to know what the digit sum of 86 is. So you know how to find that. So what's the digit sum of 86? So remember, you take those two numbers, add them together, try to do it in your head, you get 14. Looking for a single digit number, now we know why. It's one, because we see the visual here. 14, add the two digits, I get 5. So hopefully you found the digit sum of 86 is 5, and then I want to put it on my circle. So I find my 5, and I can put my 86, what color do I want to use? Let's use orange again. 86 goes right here. Now here's a question for you. If we know to get from one to the next we add 9 each time, then I can also think if I want to find any number, I can just use multiples of 9. So what do you have to add to 5 to get 86? So 5 plus what number is 86? It's 81, good, which just so happens to be a multiple of 9. So I can use my multiples of 9 to figure out on this circle where those numbers go to. Let's take a look at another sum of a bigger number. We'll put it on our circle. Okay. So let's say I want the digit sum of, let's make it a bigger number. Let's say 15,412. Okay, so let's try to do this one in our head. So let's find 1 plus 5 plus 4 plus 1 plus 2 in our head. Did you get 4? So 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 4 is 10, plus 1 is 11, plus 2 is 13. I want a single digit number. 1 plus 3 is 4. And what that means is I know where this goes. 15,412 goes here. Interesting. Very cool, and something to practice again. All right. Now, let's talk a little bit about a simpler way. I mentioned this, I showed this to you yesterday if you were with me. And we're going to keep building on this idea. Sorry, I don't want to use that color. If I want the digit sum, let's say of 1,999. So let's do it the way we've been talking about it. Let's add up those digits and see what happens. And hopefully you're looking for little strategies, like, for example, what do I know 3 nines, 9 3 times is equal to? It's 27, if I'm okay with my multiplication facts. Plus 1 more is 28. Okay, so 28, I'm going to add the 2 and the 8. That's 10. Add 1 and 0, I get 1. So if you needed help with that, so we started the digit sum, 1,999, add them up, get 28, 2 plus 8 is 10, 1 plus 0 is 1. I have my single digit number. Now, yesterday we talked about, or if this is new for you, that actually there's a shortcut here, and whenever I see a 9, I can ignore it. And we'll talk more later about why. So if I want the digit sum of 1,999, all I really need is the 1. And I can save all of this work. There's a little shortcut there. Now the shortcut has a name. It's called casting out nines. There's a lot of reasons why you would want to do this, and we'll keep exploring, especially with mental math. And the ability to cast out certain numbers allows you to take big strings of numbers and add them together in your head quickly. And that's why we want to keep doing this and practicing it. But what's cool about this is it's not limited to just nines. So let's say I want the digit sum of 27,481. And before, we've been talking about taking all those numbers and adding them together. And I don't see any nines as a digit. But I can find things that add up to 9. And I can ignore those in the same way. Okay? So I can actually ignore the 2, the 7, the 8, and the 1. And in one basic, easy, simple step, I get 4. And you can try it the regular way, add 2 plus 7 plus 4 plus 8 plus 1 and break it down, but you'll get 4. Okay. If you add up all the digits, you get 22, and 2 plus 2 is 4. But this 9 strategy works. It doesn't have to be a 9. It could be any number or numbers that add up to 9. And I can get rid of that. Now, let's talk about how one way that this gets used, and this might be helpful for you if you're doing things like this in school. So the first thing I want you to do is really would encourage you to try to do this problem mentally. Okay. After all, we're talking about mental math. If you need to write it down and do a pencil to paper, that's okay. But I want to add 23 and 13 together, and I want to try to do it mentally. Okay. Should get 36. So here's what's cool. And we'll talk about all the ways that this works in other sessions. What's the digit sum of 23? So it's 2 plus 3, which is 5. What's the digit sum of 13? 1 plus 3 is 4. What's the digit sum of 36? It's 9. And what do I get when I add these? I get 9. So here's what's really cool. The digit sums should be the same. They should not even should be, they have to be the same. Now, if I check this is a way that you can check your work. So if you want to know if 23 plus 13 is 36, you want to check it, you can check it by using digit sums. Sometimes in school, and it's a really good thing to be able to do, they might tell you to take 36 and subtract 13 and see if you get 23. This way works too, though, which is really cool. Now, it's possible that you can get the same digit sums there and your answer is actually not right. So you think, well, how could that be? What if I made a mistake and I said the answer was 63? What's the digit sum of 63? It's still 9, but my answer's wrong. So when you check things like this using digit sums, it means that you're probably right. It doesn't mean that you are totally, absolutely, positively sure that you're right. But it's a really good thing to be able to know how to do. Okay, let's practice another one. So let's try 47 plus 13. And what I would like you to do is 2 things now. So now I'm really going to stretch your brain. I want you to first, if you can, solve 47 plus 13 mentally. And then at the same time, I want you to see if you can find the digit sums and the digit sum of the answer that you get and see if they're the same. And we just learned this, so if you have to write it down, it's okay. And you might have to write it down the next 50 times you do this. But that's what I want you to keep working toward. Can you find that sum? Can you find the digit sums? And can you hold all of that in your head to use that to help you check? This is what I want you to keep practicing too. So 47 plus 13. Okay, so thinking 60. Let me erase some of this extra stuff I don't need. So remember, I want the digit sum of that. And I want you to find the digit sums of these 2 numbers and add them up. It's a lot to hold in your head. But if you know it's 60, then the digit sum of 60 is not so bad. It's 6. So now you just kind of hold 6 in your head. Okay, I need 6. If my answer is right, I want to check it. When I add these digit sums together, I'm going to get 6. So what's the digit sum of 47? So 4 plus 7 is 11. Digit sum of 11 is 2. Digit sum of 13 is 4. And 2 plus 4 is 6. So now you have a different way to check your work. And it's really important to check your work because when you solve a math problem, you should definitely care about whether you got the right answer or not. But this is a fun way to think about it. So, all right, want to do one more? Let's do 88 and 33. And I want you to be confident that if you solve this mentally, that you know you have the right answer, but it does not hurt you to check. Okay. Want to know if I'm right? So what's the digit sum of 121? 4. It's not so bad. Now I just need to know if I add the digit sums of these two numbers, do I get 4? So 8 plus 8 is 16. So the digit sum of 88 is 7. Digit sum of 33 is 6. 7 plus 6 is 13. Digit sum of 13 is 4. And I know I'm right. All right, now that's stretching your brain and giving you something to think about. But we're going to keep practicing things like this, and then you're going to see why these techniques are really important. It's important for you to be able to check your workbook. We're going to use them again and again and again. And it all revolves around this idea of just taking the sum of the digits in a number, which is kind of interesting. It may be something you haven't done too much, but important. And just something fun to learn and practice. And of course, when you come to Mathnasium and join, you definitely learn and practice how to do things like this and become really awesome at that, both pencil to paper and mentally. And we help you with everything that you could possibly need with math. So I hope, as always, I hope you really enjoyed today's lesson. I really appreciate all of you joining me. We will be back tomorrow with another really awesome lesson, and I will be back next Wednesday for Mental Math number 9, which is all about the 9s. Okay? Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day, and all of you stay safe. Bye now.
It's afternoons that seem to be the most hectic for us, so it was much more convenient when we found Mathnasium at home.
All right, so how do we do half of 5? I think one of the best things about at home is that it really feels like you're almost at home with the student in their house teaching them.
I'm in my comfort zone.
You can just ask for help and the instructor will come right to you.
With Mathnasium at home, I know that they're getting the help that they need.
Awesome, great job.
Mathnasium, changing lives through math.